Really?
Any music, John? Oh, there it is. Welcome in to the Ron Ross Radio Show podcast for this Tuesday. There you go. There you go, John and Mike. Tuesday. It's the second to the last day of January already. 2024, just after 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. How you doing? I'm Ron. You switched it again. I'm Ron. That dude on my left, your right, is actually John Yaglensky, who is our executive producer, my partner in crime here. And as always, remember, you can interact with us live. You can leave messages, 240-415-9090, 240-415-9090. We've had one or two friends who have done that, and it's great to hear their voice. And you can give us your voice, too. Make sure you subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube and you're watching us on Facebook. Please hit that subscribe button and the like button, and share with your friends too. And then and let them know that you can actually hear the audio version of the podcast wherever you get your podcasts. John has informed me that we were a little behind in posting the podcasts for a couple of weeks, but they're all done and they're all mixed and they're all processed and ready to be posted. So they're going to be showing up on Apple and wherever you get, wherever else you get your podcasts. So thank you so much for hanging with us.
Better than being a big behind.
A little behind. Yeah. Okay, I got it. Hey, I got that joke this time, John.
Yeah.
It didn't go sailing over my head.
Hey, good. Yeah.
You should see our texts like 2 days after, like a couple of hours after the podcast. I'm like, oh, John, I heard that joke. I got it finally. I'm missing it most of the time, but that's all right. How you been? Everything good, John?
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's another day in paradise.
What's going on with your car?
Not warm enough here.
Yeah.
Well, so which one? the
I
one
don't
that
know.
was in the shop for a long time, or the one that got backed into?
The one that got backed into.
So, well, that's my new one. Yeah, that I bought and then had it 30 days, and then somebody in a parking lot backed into it. So, I will say Flo and the kids over at the Progressive have been responsive so far, and they set up a little meeting for me at a local shop, and it's going in there next week. And they underbid the fixing, but they said that sometimes happens because you take pictures now, right?
Well,
yeah. I mean,
you take
pictures, you upload it to the
around the whole thing, right?
Video, and it's a whole thing now. It was my first. I haven't filed a claim on a car in, I don't know, 15, 20 years probably. I mean, the few minor things that I've done in the past, I've just paid for because it was not much over my $500 deductible, and I figured, you know what? Why raise the insurance, all that kind of stuff. But this one, it's going to be a little bit more. I think they underestimated it, but it's going to get fixed. I'm not happy, but it's going to get fixed. I mean, nobody's happy when their new car gets run into.
No. You had it for what? Less than 30 days?
30 days. Yeah. 30 days.
Okay.
I still love my car, though. I mean,
are you catching?
I do love
okay, little tech talk here. Are you catching a latency here? Because we used to.
There's a little bit.
Yeah, we used to be able to interact in real time, and now we're not. It's
there's a little bit.
Okay.
It's okay. We'll work through it. We're professionals. Look it up.
Okay, because that would look it up in the book.
Look it up in the book.
I've seen.
I'm a pro.
Speaking of which, before I get to my first topic, I've seen, and it's great. I gotta go find out what her name is on Instagram. She's a mom, but she'll sit there and she reports from like her kids having a meltdown or something. But before she starts, she sits there and she nods like she's listening, like it's the satellite delay, and somebody in the studio is handing it off to her, and she just goes, yes, that's right. Okay, so we're hearing. And it's so good. It's those little and that little thing, and she's just hilarious. As soon as I find that find her on Instagram, I'll post the link here and on our Instagram and on and on all our socials. But she's so good and very funny, and she just reports from her toddlers. He's having juice right now.
Oh, I've seen that.
Talking
I
into
have
the
seen
phone.
that.
But the best part is just nodding before she starts to talk. Oh God! All right,
You know what?
here we
I
go.
think honestly, Ron, I think it's my ISP. We've been having problems the last 2 or 3 days with things have been a little bit slow occasionally, and I think they're having some issues.
Yeah,
So
because
I think it's me.
your picture is pixelated right now, so that's why I was.
Yeah, it's saying my internet connection is unstable, but we'll as long as the audio is working. So
yeah, exactly. All right, so good times, great oldies. All right, moving on to what I had hoped that I wouldn't be talking about, but now I am. The Baltimore Ravens getting eliminated and losing the national champion, or the AFC championship game in M&T Bank Stadium in Baltimore to the Kansas City Chiefs. They were outplayed in every turn. There were a couple of good plays. Just my assessment. I don't understand why the offensive coordinator only called 6 running plays the whole game from the number 1 rushing team. Ravens were the number 1 rushing team in the league. And you called 6 plays. You called 6 stupid plays. Now, I was under the impression that I sat there, and you and I talked a little bit about this, John, with Taylor Swift there at M&T Bank Stadium, and a lot of Baltimore was a little bit of the Swifties weren't, but a lot of Baltimore was a little bitter because she did not bring the Eras Tour to M&T Bank Stadium. She didn't bring it to Baltimore or DC. Closest place you could go to around here
I was not aware. Okay.
Yeah, but she sure knew where M&T Bank Stadium was when she wants to show up for her boyfriend's football game. Whatever. Anyway, and I love Taylor Swift. I'm a big fan, and I'm all about those two. I'm all about those two together. I just thought it was interesting how they're just showing all of Travis Kelce's reaction shots on the field. No other player. Patrick Mahomes may have gotten the quarterback, may have gotten more shots. Basically, though, it was the Travis Kelce. And there's one reason why that was happening. It's again, this is all my humble opinion, that the NFL wanted Taylor Swift at that Super Bowl. Yesterday, I looked it up, and it's so hilarious.
Well, yeah,
she's got a show. She's got a show in Tokyo the day before. However, Tokyo is 17 hours ahead. Okay, so she's going to be on, and so if you search how far ahead is Tokyo than Las Vegas, actually it'll auto complete for you in Google because everybody is searching this. and then underneath it in related searches is how long does it take to fly from Tokyo to Las Vegas? She's got a private jet. She'll make it. Jeez. She'll be fine. Everybody calm down. 17 hours. That's a lot. That's a lot of time to play with. She will be there for the Super Bowl game. Lackluster performance from the Ravens. I was under the impression, and I'm getting a little bit too much into sports talk, but I was the impression that my dad came over. That was very exciting. I invited him over for that because we were invited to a Super Bowl party, and if the Ravens went to the Super Bowl, I was going to go to that. And so this was like my only time to host my dad. My dad came over, my younger brother Greg and his fiance came over, and I made so the greatest wife ever was like, she had looked up a bunch of stuff because she's really into our diet and making sure we're eating healthy and so on. And so she said, look, shrimp is only 4 calories a shrimp. I'm like, I'm sorry, are you sure?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And then she's like, look, I want to, because we love fried shrimp. And so she made breadcrumbs. She toasted the bread or dried it out and made breadcrumbs out of the 647 bread. Have you seen the 647 bread? It's low calorie. No. It's in some fat. Anyway, she made that bread and then she fried it and in just some oil, and it was about 25 calories per shrimp. And and they were great. Oh, they were so good. And we bought the stuff to put like if you do like the bang bang shrimp, and you put and she was going to use purple cabbage, Raven slaw, all that stuff. We didn't get to that point because the shrimp we were just popping them. I was keeping count though. She was keeping count. I was keeping count. And we baked wings. I got a bag of wings and we baked them. I didn't fry them and put sauce on them. And that was it.
How much do you save there? Like if you bake them versus frying them?
I don't know about calorically, but it's better for my heart. I'll give you that.
Well, true.
Yeah.
Not as much.
No, I'm just going for that.
Saturated fat.
Yeah.
I got you.
So that was as much as the whole day was a disappointment with the Ravens losing and then the Lions losing. Both teams that I wanted to go to the Super Bowl were eliminated.
I mean, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just, and it was funny because and my dad was there, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but we always text back and forth when the Ravens game's on. We always text back and forth. He's at his home and he's watching, and like, oh, that should have been that was a penalty, or that was a bad call, or should have run the ball past, whatever. So he's sitting 7 feet from me, and we were still texting each other. Because,
no, really? Yeah. In the same room?
Yeah. He's like, this doesn't look good. And I'm like, yeah, I know. And we were still texting each other, which I thought was funny. And but it was good to see Dad. Dad was over until halftime, and my brother and his fiance, they were over, and which was fun. And they had my brother had kind of gotten away from the Ravens. He was really, really into it, and then he realized that a lot of his emotions were tied up in to the performance of the Ravens, and he's like, I can't do this. He's like, if I want to go do something with my family, with my wife or fiance or whatever, I'm gonna go do it. I'm not gonna be, I have to watch the game or listen to the game or so on. And I took my cue from him. I'm like, and even my dad, because I was like crestfallen a couple of years ago. They were in the playoffs, and they lose, and which is what they do. They get to the playoffs and then they lose. This has been for like the past. It was my opinion that they stumbled up in a couple of games. They got lucky in a couple of games, and they were probably not as good as their record reflected. It was just my humble opinion. I'm not a big sports analyst. Still don't understand why they didn't call more running plays, but whatever. Neither here nor there. I had to walk away. I was disappointed again. I just sat there for a good day. I just kept telling the greatest way ever. I'm like, damn, I can't believe they lost. That was a great season. And it was the same thing with the Orioles. The Orioles went all that way, and then they get to and in 3 games out of the playoffs. And you follow a team the whole season. You're like, God, could this be it? Could this be it? And they were just hitting on all cylinders. And then the playoff game the week before, and then I don't know what happened. Anyway, so go Orioles. I have moving on. I've completely written it off. I will go to the Super Bowl party, but I'm going to be going for the food and the commercials, and I could not care less about the game at all. 49ers and the Chiefs. If anything, I might root for the 49ers just so that the Chiefs would lose. I lost a lot of respect for Travis Kelce because of his behavior on the field, in the especially with some penalties that were called and a lot of pushing and shoving that was going on, and the refs didn't call anything on him, but they sure called it on the Ravens. And I'm like, he pushed him first. He's the one who started it. Nope. Okay. All right. That's the way that's going to be. But anyway, moving on. There are more important things than the NFL.
But it takes I mean, to be honest with you, when your team goes down, right, you have that emotional connection, and it takes you a day or two to kind of come down from that high of where you were at the end of the season. And it was a huge game, and there were just a lot of questions like, what the heck happened? I mean, both of those games were just like surprising in the way that they turned around.
They didn't lose. Ravens didn't lose by a huge margin, but there was a touchdown that they could have had if Flowers had held on to the ball, fumble in the end zone, you fumbled it before you crossed the end zone.
Yeah.
Ah!
As someone said, you never reached like that.
Breaking.
Yeah.
Breaking. If you could have just been tackled, they would have put it in from the 1 yard, whatever. But it's all hindsight. It's 2020 or whatever. And I'm sick of talking about football. Okay, so I'm moving on. Really, I am. Seriously. Greatest wife ever saw a promo for the USFL. She's like, yeah, bring it on.
Spring football.
She doesn't like the NFL. She does not like the NFL, but that's
not a fan.
It's a whole nother story for another time.
I get it.
But she was into it because I was into it, and she supported me, which was very cool. She even had purple extensions in her hair, and yeah.
Well, how about that?
She looked amazing. Amazing. It was great, and then she made this shirt. Like I'm telling you, Rick, you're great.
You were great. You are amazing.
Okay. All right, here we go. A little inside baseball again, even though we're talking about football. Is
wonderful.
Rick Dees. Rick Dees had a countdown show in the 90s. Kind of took the mantle away from Casey Kasem. Yeah. All of a sudden, Casey Kasem was the American Top 40, or he may have left it by then, and they had given it to Shadow Stevens, had it for a little while.
Right.
And then Ryan Seacrest took over American Top 40. But in the 90s, it was all Rick Dees. Rick Dees. He was a big morning show in KLOS.
LA.
He was in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm.
He was a top 40 DJ, and they gave him a syndicated countdown show. So his rivaled American Top 40, and a bunch of radio stations that weren't carrying American Top 40 were carrying the Rick Dees and the weekly Top 40. And I don't know where they got their chart from. I think the chart was from Dees Sleeves. Anyway, Rick Dees, if you've never heard him, had a distinct delivery. Great. You're amazing. And he had these, but he was also notorious for not really paying attention to what was
true.
Couldn't be bothered to know your name, kind of thing.
No. And
one of the big stories I heard, and it's third person, so I don't know if any of this is true. Rick, if you're watching this, he was on a golf course, and they wanted to walk up some big muckety muck executive from they wanted to land this sponsor for the Rick Dees weekly Top 40. And Rick Dees is like on the green or whatever, and somebody walks up and goes, "Hey, we have somebody from I'm just throwing out there, Coca-Cola wants to come up and talk to you." And he's like, "Man, oh man, I am peopled out," and he walked away from smoking.
Yeah, I can't be bothered to talk to the advertiser.
Again, I don't know if it's true. It makes a great story, but we would always and I've also heard legendary that he could get your name, kind of get your name. So that was an inside thing between
Rick Ross.
You are amazing. Exactly. The program director at Z104 in DC, Dale O'Brien, and I would call him Dave. What did he call me? He called me Don. I was Don. And then Sammy Simpson, our promotion director, he was Sonny. We would get on the intercom in the building and just and do our Rick Dees. Dave, you are wanted in the program director's office. Dave, you are amazing. That's not on the list of things to talk about. Okay. Anyway, so
no.
Rick Dees. How did I get into Rick Dees? Rick Dees. Yeah,
because I did it. Yeah, he did. He also had a song, Disco Duck.
Into the Night. He had a #1 song, Rick Dees and his Cast of Idiots. That's the first time I heard of the name Rick Dees. I heard he was a DJ. I think he was in Nashville at the time when he wrote that song. Disco Duck. #1 record. A DJ with a #1 record. You're amazing. You're great. Rick Dees. All right, enough radio. I've been told that I go a little too much into radio insider stuff, so sorry about that. But
It's
although I did see a comment last week that said, "Oh, we love your radio stories." So I don't know where I'm gonna fall. I'm like 50-50. Okay, I have my Captain Geese and the Shrimp Shack Shooters coffee mug. I don't know if you could see that, but our trivia team is back, baby. We had taken, probably a year and a half off. We used to play on Wednesdays. Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters is a reference to the movie That Thing You Do that was written and directed, and the first movie directed by Tom Hanks. And it starred Tom Everett Scott. Tom Scott Everett? Whatever. As Shades, as Guy Patterson, the drummer in a band called The Wonders, the Oneaters. Loved that movie. I don't know why, but that movie just kind of struck a chord with The Greatest Wife Ever and me and both daughters, and we love it. We know the whole soundtrack. And my nephew, Zach, is the one who turned us on to that. So he loved it. Anyway, we started playing playing trivia on and we won last night. Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters, and we had a couple of and it's funny because it's a team of 7 and we all have different expertise, I should say. Greatest Wife Ever is general trivia knowledge, but if one of the categories is like floriculture or flowers, I'm like, let's hand it to the florist. A lot of music trivia comes my way. But if one of the categories is 90s, and I used to be a program director of a channel, the 90s on 9 on Sirius XM, but then they go 90s and they look at me, I'm like, yeah, dude, okay. I doesn't mean I have it memorized. I might know it. I might know that Len does Don't Steal My Sunshine, and that this sample is from the Andrea True Connection, More, which was hit in the 70s. I may know that.
You might. You might, Robert. You might.
If that's a question, is he right? So we played last night. Oh, and then we have another woman on the team who is she's a research scientist, and she every day goes to work and tries to cure cancer. That's what she does. She's a doctor, and she's on our trivia team. And it's like, what did you do today? And I'm like, I played some records and I talked. What did you do? I tried to cure cancer. Because she literally, that's what she does. But she's got a lot of presidential trivia in her head. She knows all the presidents in order and so on. So everybody's got their specific. Who was it? James. James really pulled it out when it came to the NFL. We got an NFL question, and because sometimes when the sports hits, we're like, no, I don't know what the names of the new names with the sponsors of the Michigan. Where does Michigan play? Michigan football. I don't know. It's stuff like that. And who was the coach for 13 years? And well, I do know that it was Jim Harbaugh, but still, that's not the point. We each have our different little areas that we like to do, that we excel in.
Makes sense,
and it's fun. It took a while for me to because it also creates a little bit of anxiety for me, because especially if there's something that you knew and it's just not coming to you. It's just not in your head. You're looking at the person's face. You're looking at the person's face. For instance, last night the question was and it was 2K movies of the 2000s, and it said you might want to look at Stevie Nicks for the title of this album, the title of this movie, starring Haley Steinfeld, from 2000, whatever it was. And also for bonus 2 points, name the actor who played the school counselor. And so I knew that it was The Edge of 17, which was the only Stevie Nicks song that I could think of that had to do with a teenager coming of age story, Haley Steinfeld.
Right.
And then because I remember seeing the trailer, and I'm going over it in my mind. And I'm like, oh, until finally I'm like, oh, I know this. Because I'm looking at him but then I couldn't remember his name. And I'm like, no. And then finally I just had to sit
hate
there
when that
because
happens.
everybody's talking. They're all talking
Yeah.
around the table. And then I tend to get a little rude. I'm like, shut it, stop. As I'm trying to remember.
Trying to think.
And then the greatest wife ever taught me a trick. And she's like, go through the alphabet. Go through the alphabet in your head and see if anything starts to ring a bell. And then I realized that it was Woody Harrelson. And then we got it. And we got the bonus on that. But it creates the kind of, when I'm playing, not necessarily competitiveness, but it's like, I know this, or I should know this. And it really it becomes a little upsetting sometimes when I can't get it. So speaking of trivia, John, I have written
Yes.
I've written a game for you. Okay, because you have told me.
No.
Yeah, no. It's gonna be it'll be fine, John. It's fine.
It'll be brilliant. Except for we're dealing with this latency crap today. But
you're fine. You're fine. No, because you're gonna be going up against our listeners. All right.
Oh, okay.
So they're gonna be putting in their answers, and then you're gonna give your answer, and then we'll see who is correct.
Here we
All
go.
right.
All right.
It's 5 music trivia questions. 5 music trivia questions. By the way, I didn't look up a single. I didn't look up a single one of these. I knew these off the top of my head. Right?
So
just throwing that
can I clarify? Yeah. I need to clarify here, which is I'm really good at name that tune. Music trivia, on the other hand, I don't know if I'll be good at. Okay,
you'll get these.
Anyway,
you'll get these. Or maybe,
bring it on.
And then all right. So you who are paying attention to the podcast, okay, you can put your answers in the comment section, and we'll see how you do against John. All right.
Right.
And Sandy just popped up a comment and said, good morning, friends. Here we go. We're doing Stump John music quiz. The Stump John music quiz. Number 1. Number 1. Here we go.
Number 1.
Which of these was the band Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley were in before they started Kiss? Multiple choice. Ready? Rat Salad, Wicked Lester, Sweet Children. All right, one more time. Which of these was the band Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley were in before they started Kiss? Rat Salad, Wicked Lester, Sweet Children.
Sweet.
Actually, the band had an album. They had a recording contract with, I think it was Epic Records, and put out an album. Sounded a lot like Doobie Brothers before they started Kiss. There was no makeup involved or anything like that. Gene Simmons, Paul Stanley. John, what's your answer?
I'm going to go with Sweet Children.
All right. So do we have any answers that are coming across in the comment section? Jennifer said Sweet Children. Jennifer, no. All right. Anybody else? Jim Court said Rat Salad. And anybody else? What else do we have?
That's it right now.
All right.
People are scared to
guess. Not at all.
It's a tough one. It is. It's good. Yeah, I don't know this one.
Rat Salad was the original name of Van Halen. Sweet Children was the original name of Green Day. Wicked Lester was the band that Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons were in before they started Kiss. Okay. No points for anybody actually this round. All right.
Yeah. Sorry.
It's all right, John. It's okay. It's all right. It's all right.
I don't know.
Don't worry about it. It's good. It's all good.
No.
All right. Number two. Now you got it, John. Relax. Okay. Put your head up. What was Rupert Holmes' second minor hit after the Pina Colada song? I knew you knew it. I know it. I got it. Locked. Wait, hold on. Let me lock it in. You gotta lock it in. All right, don't give the answer yet. Let's see if somebody else has the answer. This is an obscure, really obscure trivia question.
I can sing it.
It was a minor hit. It did chart. It was on the top 40, I believe. It did
I
chart.
can give a
So the
hint.
Pina Colada song,
If
if you like
nobody-
Pina
'cause
Colada.
nobody's answering it.
Nobody's answering. It's
No,
a okay.
I can give a hint. Should I?
It's one syllable.
Right. Well, that, and I was going to go.
Oh, I don't know that part. Is that part of the song?
That's,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. What's the answer, John?
I should give it because we get him.
Him.
What's she gonna do without him?
Him. H-I-M. Him was the song.
Do without him.
Way lesser known hit, minor hit from Rupert Holmes. The first one was the Pina Colada. All right, John. John, you're 1 for 2. You're batting 500. Batting 500. All right, here we go. Number 3. What do Madonna, Steve Perry from Journey, and Steven Tyler from Aerosmith have in common before they became lead singers in their respective bands? Madonna was in a band prior to being a solo artist and a singer.
I have thoughts.
All right. Madonna, Steve Perry from Journey, and Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. What do they have in common before they became singers in their respective bands? They were in bands, and they did this before they were singers. What did they do? All right. Any answers? You have a thought?
Well, we got
backup
one.
singer. That's a great answer. Jennifer Scott.
Yeah.
Backup singer. Great answer. That is not it. Next.
Got
anybody else?
Yep.
Jim worked at McDonald's. No, this was in the band. Jim. I don't know if they worked at McDonald's. They may have. There's a lot of famous people who have worked at McDonald's. No, that's not the answer I was going for. Sandy says backup dancers. No, that is incorrect. John, what's your answer?
Wait, hold on. Playing guitar also. For me, I didn't quite understand the question. I went the route Jim went, which was worked in food service.
No, in their bands. They did this in their bands before they
played cowbell.
Well, it was a percussive instrument. They're all drummers. Madonna was a drummer.
So I'm not far off.
Steve Perry was a drummer. And Steven Tyler famously was a drummer in Aerosmith before he decided to step out in front. And they got Joey Kramer as the drummer. All drummers. All right. Here you go. This is yours now, John. This is so easy.
Okay.
You're now 1 for 2. Well, I mean, sorry, 1 for 3. Eric Carmen of Hungry Eyes fame, the song Hungry Eyes, was in what power pop band before he was a solo artist?
Yeah, I know that one.
You know that one. I know you knew that one.
Yeah.
With a hit. I can even tell you what the hit is. I can even tell you what their one hit. Well, they had a couple, but the one hit they had, which was anyone?
It's not coming to me.
Oh, really? Oh, it was
yeah, I don't know why.
Go All the Way. Jim says Cream.
That was Sly
That's a good
Fox.
guess. That is incorrect. No, not that Go All the Way. It was a different
All the
Go
way.
All the Way. That's Let's Go All the Way.
Okay.
No, this was
Sorry.
Baby Go All the Way. No, nothing.
Oh,
All right.
that one. Yes. Hold on. We got
Somebody
let's
else?
see.
Yes,
Jim
says
says
the
there we go.
raspberries.
Bingo.
Boom, the raspberries.
Yes.
That is correct. Eric Carmen was in the
Yes.
Raspberries. Before, what was the song? All by Myself was his first big solo hit.
All by
and then he came back years later with Hungry Eyes. From the soundtrack to anything? Anyone?
Dirty Dancing.
Anyone? Bueller? Exactly. Dirty Dancing. All right, here we go. Last one for Stump John Music Quiz. All right, John, you're back up to 500.
Yep.
You're back up to 500. Name the 3 musicians that appear in acting parts in Back to the Future, Back to the Future 2, and Back to the Future 3. 3 musicians. Actually, one's a musical group. Musical group. 3 musicians that appear in Back to the Future, Back to the Future 2, and Back to the Future 3. Appeared in acting roles. The group play is in a performance role, but not in a traditional sense of a performance role. No, nothing. John?
Why am I not getting this?
I don't know. Why aren't you getting this? This is 80. This is 80
well, I got
music and movie trivia all together. All together.
I mean, I was going to go with Jim, who said
Jim's got Huey Lewis.
Huey
Lewis. That's correct.
Because
he was in Back to the
name
Future.
of the song. Right.
The Power of Love. And he also did Back in Time. Gonna go back in time.
Right.
All right.
And that,
very good.
That,
so Huey Lewis. He was in the gym. He was one of the teachers that he was on the megaphone telling Marty McFly that his band was just too darn loud. You're just too darn loud.
Right.
That was Huey Lewis from Huey Lewis and the News. All right. Number 2.
Jennifer said
Chuck Berry. Well, it was supposedly his cousin Marvin Berry who was at the dance, but that's no, Jennifer, that's not it. In Back to the Future 2, Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers is in a he drags it was a cameo appearance, and he drags he's in a drag race, or he wants to drag Marty McFly in I think it's the end of the movie. And then finally in Back to the Future 3, you're at a hoedown back in the Old West, and it was ZZ Top that was performing at the
I forget about that movie a lot. The third installment, like I don't remember.
With the train? You didn't like the train?
I should go back and watch it. No, I didn't like the Wild West theming, and I just wasn't into it. So I think I need to go back and watch it again. Maybe I'll like it.
Gotcha. Okay. Which, by the way,
but ZZ Top fits there. Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
God, this latency stinks. By the way. Okay, go ahead.
All right. No, that's
it.
I even
rebooted before we started. Dang it. Okay.
Right.
Woo! All right.
There you go. All right.
All right.
All right. So I did want to mention briefly that the Grammys are coming this weekend, and I've been paying attention to the big awards. The Song of the Year. There's Song of the Year, and then there's what's the other one? Record of the Year, which is the producing. Song of the Year is the Songwriting Award. Record of the Year. So I'm really pulling for Miley. I got to tell you, when Miley Flowers first came out, I remember saying to Daughter of the Elder, I'm like, I think she's over. I think it's over. This is sad to watch this happen when an artist is done and they're trying to grab onto a top 40 hit. But then she said, "You watch, Dad. It's going to be a #1 song. Everybody's going to love it." And she was not wrong. She killed it. Oops. She called it. I did not. She called it. I did not. With that. And as lover, hater, whatever, when it comes to the Ravens, but Taylor Swift was hitting on all cylinders with her song, Anti-Hero. I still love that song. It's a weird lyrics. And that's what I like about it. Cause it's just a little off center for a typical Taylor Swift song, which I really dig. And Billie Eilish from Barbie, What Was I Made For, which is a gut-wrenching song. Great song. Great. Just well written with her brother, well executed. So we'll see where that goes. One I'm not real crazy about, but they're going for Song of the Year. Well, Vampire from Olivia Rodrigo, that could be. Which is also, I haven't spent a lot of time with that, but Kill Bill from SZA. Not a fan. It's
I don't.
Whatever.
Wow, am I out of touch? I'm so out of touch.
Well, it's okay. Wow. I mean, I'm in the middle of all this stuff. I mean, with both stations that I worked at for 2023, I was playing all that stuff. So I'm in the middle of all that stuff. So I'll be watching the Grammys on Sunday, much to the Greatest Wife Ever's chagrin. But I'm like, I got to watch it. I got to talk about it. and watch the performances. We'll see how it goes with the Grammys. Speaking of which, it's time to get the gray matter working. Fire out the synapses, engage the frontal lobe, form new neural networks, utilize the cerebrum. As Pooh says, it's time to
think.
Dang. It's the dun dun dun. Question of the day. They call it the QOD for short for pride, not prize. Are you ready? I know we just went through a lot of music trivia, so this is kind of along the same lines of that. It's kind of a long question. So follow along with me, okay? Here we go. Today's question of the day. It's a Grammys question. Recording executives on the committee for this recognition, okay? When compiling a list of significant recording people, realized a lot would not get that recognition. So they created their own awards, the Grammys. What professional recognition in Hollywood were these recording executives on the committee for? Grammatically incorrect. I ended the sentence with the preposition. I'm sorry, I didn't know any other way to write it. Here it is one more time.
Don't.
Recording executives on the committee for this recognition, it's a professional recognition. That's what I'm going for. The answer to the question. When compiling a list of significant recording people, realized a lot would not get this recognition. So they created their own awards, the Grammys. What professional recognition in Hollywood were these recording executives on the committee for? Also with film and also with television on this committee for this recognition. What was this recognition? All right, put your answers down and good luck. Let's take a beverage break there, John, you and I. All right.
Tasty. Boom, boom, boom. All right.
Here is the question one more time. Recording executives on the committee for this recognition, when compiling a list of significant recording people, realized a lot would not get this recognition. So they created their own awards, the Grammys. What professional recognition in Hollywood were these recording executives on the committee for? All right. Let's take a look at some of these answers. This is for pride, not prize. Our first answer is SAG, Screen Actors Guild Award. That's a great answer, Jim. That is not it. It's in Hollywood. You had recording artists. Jim said SAG again. Okay. Sandy said the Hollywood Walk of Fame, a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's correct. There you go. Nice.
Really?
Job.
Wow.
Nice job. These recording executives were on the committee for the Hollywood, getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. They were compiling a list of all these recording people, artists and producers and whatnot, along with there was a committee from the movies and a committee from television. And the recording people were like, they're not, a lot of these aren't going to get this, but we need to recognize them. So they created their own awards like the Oscars and like the Emmys, and they created the Grammys. So there you go. Nice job. Nice job. Who was that? Was it Sandy?
Yeah.
Sandy.
Yeah.
Sandy.
Yeah.
All right, Sandy, you get pride, not prize. Carry that around with you all day. Sandy, that's why I Sandy said it was the only thing in Hollywood I could think of. That's why I said Hollywood. I gave that little in the kind of as a clue, as a little bit of a clue, threw that in there. Well,
nice.
Okay, I know.
Yes.
I'm very excited about it. I'm
job.
excited to watch the
job.
Grammys, just to see what kind of performances. And the thing I've noticed with the Grammys, so they'll have what's called a Grammy moment, where there's just an unbelievable performance. One year, as I recall, I don't know when this was, but Pavarotti was supposed to sing from the opera. I think it's called La Dorma, whatever. It's a big aria from an opera. Okay. And he was sick. So at the last minute, they got Aretha Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
And she sang
Okay.
Pavarotti's the song from this opera and just killed it. Since then, those Grammys have been trying to recreate something that happened organically and accidentally. And they keep trying. They put these artists together, like they put Lady Gaga and Metallica together, but Lady Gaga's microphone wasn't working, and so she had to sing on James Hetfield's microphone, or vice versa, whatever. And they keep trying to get these Grammy. When we come back, it'll be a Grammy moment from, Shania Twain and Judas Priest. You're like, what? They keep trying to do that. And also what they do at the broadcast, which I thought is interesting, is that so they give out all the awards, and then afterwards they have everybody take a break, and then they all come back in, and then they film some sort of artist tribute. They've done it for the Beatles. I think they did it for the Bee Gees, and they have all these artists who are already there, and they go and change costumes or whatever.
Right.
And they come out and they perform, and then they air that. They'll probably air that in I don't know, March, April, May, something like that. The Grammys salute, blah, blah, blah. So they do that night. So when the awards are over, they're not out of there just yet. They still have to stick around for the Grammy salutes show that they do. But I just think it's interesting though, if it's in Los Angeles, that the the awards are pretty much over by 8:00 at night, because they're over 11 o'clock East Coast time. The awards are over, and so then they go and party, and that so we on the East, the East Coast centric people are going, those guys are partying all night. No, they're not. They're home by 11.
No,
their
it's all
time.
about the after parties, though.
Yeah, it's all about the after party.
From what I heard. Yeah,
Elton John for
Very
years
nice.
now has held for AIDS research. He has held a huge Grammy party, and proceeds from that. So I think they go to AIDS research, and he's been doing that for years and years. So now that's the ticket to get to make your donation and get into that party, is the world famous Elton John party. Since he's retired, though, I don't know if I'm sure he's probably going to still do it, but still, that would be the place to go. And then there's the governor's ball that they do for the Grammys, the recording industry, and so on. So it'll be interesting to watch. I've been, since I'm in the pop music world, working on Key 103 and playing all the current music that's happening. I decided to compile a tiny little list of current music that I'm digging, and I would love to hear what you like. So please put it down in your comments. Current songs that are happening. John, never mind.
Yeah, just I'll give you my
Didn't Marillion
talk radio
new album
or something. I don't know.
About that.
No.
You
suck.
I don't suck. I wasn't. Didn't one of the hold on, time out, John. I'm not making fun of you. Didn't one of those artists put out a new album this year or last year, 2020? Right? You were saying a bit.
I don't know.
Yeah,
this year.
No,
maybe it's about a year or two ago.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't want you to think I was making fun of you, John. I was not. I was not at all.
Which would be fine if you were. I'm okay with that.
John has a specific taste in music. There's a specific. I don't think if it wasn't for the fact that I do what I do for a living, I don't know if I would be a big fan of Dua Lipa. Although I really love my pop divas. I love that stuff. I love a well-crafted pop song. From Britney from back in the day, and even Kesha. Yes, Kesha. I love that song TikTok. I still do. Kelly Clarkson's really great stuff, especially if they hooked up with Max Martin, who is the Swedish producer. I don't know what it is with the Swedes and writing pop music because, ABBA is Swedish, but Max Martin and that whole crew of producers and songwriters and so on are just everything they do turns to gold. Everything they produce, they've worked with, gosh, you name it. They were Pink. When she gets a huge monster song, you're like, oh, produced by and co-written by Max Martin. Okay, that makes sense. Kelly Clarkson stuff,
It's kind of
Britney stuff. There
sort
was,
of like yeah, it's sort of like David Foster in the 80s and like Timbaland in the early ones,
right, Timbaland,
things like that.
exactly.
And- yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly,
Yeah.
John. He's frozen. He's frozen now. John's. Oh, nope, he's back. Okay. Stop it, John. But so anyway, I compiled a list.
I'm going to
'cause
scream, by the way, when we get off the air. Totally. I'm going to just scream my head
No,
off.
you're not. No, you're not. You're fine.
No, I am.
No, you're
No.
Elsa. You know why? You know why you're Elsa? Because you're gonna let it go. Let it go. Let it go. Stop it, John. He's trying to freeze. John, if you're looking at the picture, John's trying to freeze on purpose. If you're just listening to this means absolutely nothing to you. And
No, it doesn't.
and we'll get this posted by April.
Yep.
All right.
True.
So let me go through some of this. I am a fan. I told you I'm a fan of Taylor Swift's Anti-Hero. It's just a weird song, and I think it may have been co-written with Jack Antonoff from he was in Fun and he was in Bleachers, and it may have been Jack. It may have been another band that she collaborates with. During the pandemic, she put out those two surprise albums. Surprise! Here are these absolutely incredible albums, and she collaborates with these great artists. But she can write a song. Although I did see somebody, because somebody's always got to try to rip her down. When you're at the top of the mountain, you got to try to rip them down. And it was all of the rhymes that she made of car with bar, which there's an inordinate amount of in the back of the car driving home from the bar. Okay. I get it. I know.
Mhm.
If it's there, if the rhyme's there, I'm gonna take it. And who's to say she's the only that came up with the lyric? Maybe it was somebody else in her songwriting team. But Anti-Hero, I think, is still a great song. It took me a while to get to to memorize the chorus, because that's a weird. And I stare directly in the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting always rooting for the anti-hero. I mean, who comes up with a lyric like that? I enjoy it. I'm just saying.
Apparently, Tay-Tay. Yes.
Current music
Apparently.
that is happening.
Mhm.
Exactly, John. I did mention her
Mhm.
earlier,
Mhm.
but when it came from the Barbie movie, and I spotted this and told the program director at Key, I'm like, dude, we gotta play it. So it popped it in, and it was a #1 record. Was Dua Lipa and Dance the Night. Just a great party song, great dance song. And if you saw the Barbie movie, it's everybody's dancing with these choreographed moves and Ken's out on the dance floor, and it was just it's a good piece. Which I thoroughly, because again, I like pop divas, pop princesses who put out a well-crafted pop song that resonates with the audience, and people are into it and they love it, and you bounce everywhere. Speaking of which, one that's out now. Now, this is one of those songs that I'm going to claim I knew all of this way before anybody else did. And I'm going to tell you the story about why I knew this. A bunch of years ago, I was running sound for a band called the Drunk Naked Pirates. And it was for a Halloween costume contest, right? Halloween costume contest, Halloween party, and it was a fundraiser for an animal rights group. I forget what it was. But in between, you're supposed to, when the band takes a break, you're supposed to run a little music on the sound system just to kind of, just as ambient music in the background. And we're kind of going through the eras of music, the band, and I think I committed a cardinal sin as a DJ, which you don't ever want to upstage the band. And I threw on a song called "The Best of My Love" from The Emotions. It's from the 70s, and it's got this it's got this great groove, packs the dance floor. And I'm like,
Literally.
Yep. I better keep this going. So then it was, Rick D, Super Freak. And then I knew where I was going, what my sweet spot was. And I've DJ'd live before. I used to DJ weddings and stuff like that. But that song, Emotions, The Emotions and Best of My Love, at our anniversary party, I threw a 30th anniversary party for the Greatest Wife Ever, for married 30 years. But it was in 30, we were 31. We didn't do it until 2022, 2021. I forget. But anyway, we had hired this disco. I had hired this disco 70s tribute band called, oh my God, why can't it? Groovalicious. And they were playing all of the, Brick House and all that stuff. And of course, and they had three female singers, and they do Boogie Wonderland with the Emotions did with Earth, Wind and Fire. Actually, I should have asked you that, John. I'm sure you would have answered that. Known that trivia on that song. But the Emotions. So this song was huge. Yeah. Best of My Love. The funny thing was that there were two songs out at the time called Best of My Love. There was the Emotions, and then there was Eagles, who had a #1 song with the ballad Best of My Love. That's right. Remember, it's just Eagles, not the Eagles.
Not the Eagles. Right.
So occasionally, and I mentioned this earlier, that Len, Don't Steal My Sunshine, uses a sample from Andrea True Connection, More, but they didn't take it from the song. They took it from the what's called a bridge, and it's a bridge in the middle of the song with the piano dun 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 dun, and they just took that and played it over and over and over. They just kept doing that, and then wrote new lyrics and a new melody line over top of it, and that's where they came up with that. Sometimes I can get on board with it. Sometimes it's highly annoying, because it's like you're not writing a song, you're taking from somebody else's song. You're not constructing a song with a verse, chorus, and a bridge and a lead break and so on. And in music theory, which is highly satisfying, you're just playing the same thing over and over again. One of them was I'll Be Missing You, which they took from Every Breath You Take. And they just took the opening, the song Every Breath You Take has a chorus, a bridge. Oh, can't you see you belong to me? And the song goes somewhere. Every Breath You Take does not go anywhere. It's the same. Anyway, now there's a song.
Forget it. He's rolling.
Now there's a song that's out, and it's huge. It was huge on TikTok. We just started playing it. I love it. I think it's great. But what he did was he took a sample from the Emotions, Best of My Love, and it's Paul Russell, My Boo Thing. You're my little boo thing. It's a great song. It's a great song, and it's definitely a dance floor filler, and it's just over 2.5 minutes. So it's the perfect pop song, because you always leave them wanting more. You don't want too much, and which leaves a lot of room for the remix. So, but that first stab at the beginning. First stab at the beginning comes from the Emotions, Best of My Love. And then he even gives a little taste of the chorus in the song at the end, where he goes, whoa, whoa, you've got the best of my love. But he's singing it in the wrong He never says you've got the best of my love. He does the whoa, whoa, but he does it at the wrong spot. Anyway, it's a thing. So whereas I can enjoy the song now, I'm just gonna go on
Right.
record now that I spotted this song 40 years ago, before that, in the 70s, when it was a great
Right.
song. Oh, and then they even brought it back. I forgot to mention this. The Emotions version, they brought it back for Christmas. It was a Christmas song, I think, for Target. It may have been for, or may have been for Walmart.
Yes. Yep. That was it.
You've got the best of my
Yep.
love.
I noticed that too. I was going to bring it up, but
yeah, there you go.
Yep.
So, but I knew. So then they this guy Paul Russell has taken the song, and it's now. I like it. I dig it,
Right.
but it's somebody else's song. I guess I don't know. I don't know where I fall on that. Some of them I like, some of them I don't. I also thought it was interesting that Mariah Carey hooked up with Lotto, or Lotto hooked up with Mariah Carey and did a version of Fantasy. She had a #1 hit with that in the 90s. Sweet, sweet fantasy, baby. But again, that was a hook. That was a sample from a previous song from the Tom Tom Club called Genius of Love. Tom Tom Club was Tina Weymouth, the bass player in Talking Heads. That was her side project. Yeah, that was her side project.
Mhm.
So if you heard her, and they were using Genius of Love in a commercial, the actual Genius of Love. But Mariah Carey and consequently Tina Weymouth had that went to the well 3 different times. Mariah Carey took it twice with Lotto rapping over it, and they reconstructed another line, listening to the Elton John collaboration with Britney, Hold Me Closer, Tiny Dancer. Okay, Count the Headlights on the Highway. All right, so they keep that. But the other one with Rocket Man, and it's a Dua Lipa and Elton John. And I think it's going to be a long, long time. I mean, I just want to hear Rocket Man. Okay,
make it stop.
Oh, what's the one that's happening? And what's the other one that's huge? BB Rexa and David Guetta, the producer. BB Rexa singing, and they took Eiffel 65, Blue Abadi, yo, this is, rewrote, I think it's going to be a long, long time. No, I'm sorry. What's it called? Gosh, what's it called? BB Rexa and David Guetta, but they're using Blue from Eiffel 65. And then she rewrote another line on it. And it's going to be the best friggin' night of my life and stuff like that. I'm like, that's okay. Not how the song goes, but all right. big hit with that. And you're old when they're sampling songs from 30 years ago. And you're like, wow, from the 70s? No, that was the 90s. 90s was 30 years ago. Or they're redoing songs from the Hey. Or and I was just reading up about this and I was pretty excited about it. They're redoing Harry Potter as a series. So they're going to redo all the books. All right. And each book will be its own run of maybe 8 episodes or whatever. So you can really dig into it, get all of it. But if you think about it, the first Harry Potter movie was 2001. So what was that? 23 years ago? And now they're remaking it? Time is
my.
Speaking of time, we have run out of time. So thank you so much for listening to me. I've got a little bit of a nosebleed from being up on my soapbox. I apologize for that, but sorry about that. But look, I would love to hear your opinions on your favorite current music that's running around. Who you think is going to win Grammy for Song of the Year? Throw that down in the comment section. We'll talk about it next week after the awards and see who was right. Is she right? And then we'll compare and contrast notes next week. So put it down. Actually, you know what I'll do is I'll post all of let's just keep one category. Let's do Song of the Year, which is a or no, do we want to do song or song is a songwriter is a songwriter award. Record of the year is a producer award. Let's do record of the year. I will post all of the nominations on here on the Facebook page and also on our Instagram. And then you take a look and then tell me who you think's going to win. What's going to win for record of the year, the Grammys on Sunday. And then we will meet back here next Tuesday and we will quibble about it. And then no, I'm not going to argue.
Yes, we will.
No, not
of
at
course
all. Not at all.
Not a bit. Not a bit.
All right. So if you haven't already, please subscribe on Facebook, and we're also on YouTube. Thank you so much for taking half second to listen. We really do appreciate it. All the previous ones that were the audio only, those are going to be where you find your podcasts. So, gosh, I cannot thank you enough. John, you're wonderful. You are terrific. You're amazing. Binomial.
You're incredible, Ron.
You are great.
Yeah.
All right. John.
Rick
Jack,
Ross, you are incredible.
John Yaglinski, you are amazing. Oh, sorry. It's a little Rick D's humor. All right, listen. Thank you so much. Please take care of yourselves and each other. Please be safe. John Yaglinski, Ron Ross, love you, mean it. Bicycle.
Bye. Bye-bye.